Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to learn what is KDD process. So this particular topic is in SEM 6 of IT department. So if you are in SEM 6 and you want to study what is KDD and what is the entire process from starting to end, then this is the right video that you have clicked on. So let's start with KDD process, and the first thing which I want to tell you is that some people get confused between what is KDD process and data mining. So what is the difference between both of this? So basically the data mining is a subset of a KDD process. So in KDD process there are various steps, as you can see, and data mining is just one of the process which is used in the entire KDD process. So the next question is, what is KDD process and why it is used? So as we have learned in previous sem that all the data that big huge companies such as Google, Microsoft or Facebook collect, they just store it in the data warehouse. So it is cleaned up and it is stored in the data warehouse. Now if the company wants to analyze some of the sales or marketing stuff, then they have to retrieve the data from the data warehouse. So that process is known as KDD process. So it is like a set of steps which are followed to extract a specific amount of target data from a huge data warehouse. So that is known as KDD process. Now let's start with the process flow of KDD. Starting with what is actually the full form of KDD. So KDD basically stands for knowledge discovery in database. So basically we are trying to find the particular knowledge which we are interested in from a huge amount of data. So from large amount of data we get back to only the particular knowledge which we need for the analysis purpose. Now let's start with KDD process. KDD consists of 6 steps. So these are basically 6 steps, and if it is asked in question for 5 or 10 marks, then you have to draw this diagram, and then there are certain processes which you have to explain. So first let's start with KDD process now. So the step 1, I will just write it here. So the step 1 is that you have to first understand the basic, you should have a basic understanding of the following things, like which application domain are you working in, what is the actual goal of the end user, like what the end user wants from the huge data set, and you need the particular prior knowledge in this field. Like if you are collecting IT data, so you should have a prior idea of the department. So that is the first step, is that you have to first analyze and understand the basics of what the end user wants, which application domain you are working in, and what is the prior knowledge you have. Now the next step is to create a target data set. Now in first step you have understood all the basic understanding of the data. Now you don't want the entire data, we just want a particular set of data. So now we are just going to create a target data set. Target data set can be like, if you have sales of the entire like decade but you only want for a particular quarter, then that is your target data set. So that is known as target data. So you will create a target data after understanding the basic knowledge. Now after selecting the target data, the next step is data cleaning and pre-processing. This is the third step. So now in data cleaning is like the target data which we have gathered from the data warehouse. It is not consistent, like some variables, like suppose date and time. So in some of the data which is gathered in the data warehouse, the data format can be in day, month and year, and in some cases it might be month, date and year. So the data is actually not consistent. So in this process we will just clean the data, we'll process and make it consistent, so that all the variables or anything which is declared is consistent across all the data. So in this data cleaning, basically all the noise or outliers are removed, data is made consistent, and the missing data, if the data is missing from the target data, then it is identified and then it is properly reconstructed. Now the next step is data reduction. Now in this step we will again the data which we have pre-processed, we will again reduce the data, so it will be just the target data which we want, so it will be further reduced in this process. Now the next step is data mining. So now as you can see, data mining and KDD, this is the entire KDD process. And the data mining, as I have told you in the starting of the video only, data mining is just one of the process in the entire KDD system. So now after we have reduced, we have cleaned and we have gathered the target data, now we'll choose a data mining algorithm. So data mining, there are various types of data mining algorithm and we'll not go into that detail, but we will just understand that in this step, appropriate data mining algorithm will be selected and it will be applied on the data which you have gathered from the earlier steps. So there can be many data mining algorithms such as pattern matching, regression, clustering, classification and all that stuff. You can just mention it in one line while writing the paper. So that is the data mining step. Now the next step is interpreting the mined results. Now the data which we have finally, the data mining will just apply the algorithm on the data and it will give us the target data that we want. Now the next step is that the data which have been given. So these are just the patterns which the data mining will, like depending upon the algorithm, it will return the target data. Now we'll evaluate the data and we'll check whether the algorithm which has given us the data, is it according to our particular, like what we want, is that according to that format or is it given something else. So we'll evaluate the results and then we'll get the final data which we want. So this is the entire KDD process. It is very easy. Like first we have to just understand the basic knowledge. Then we have to create the target data set. Then we have to clean the data. Appropriate reduction would be done. The algorithm of data mining would be selected. Then we'll evaluate the results and then we'll get the final output, which is the knowledge or the data which we want. So this was the entire KDD process, guys. If you have any doubt, then do let me know in the comment section below and we'll meet you in the next video. Thank you.